Hello everyone, my name is Luis Gonzalez and today I'm going to be doing a lab on spreading some ransomware attack through a local network, and then we're going to be running the same attack with a Illumio selective enforcement feature on, which is going to show how with that feature we can prevent the spread of ransomware attack in the same local network with the same attack. So in this topology, as you can see here, we have our local network. I'm going to be jumping through two networks. The VolNet is essentially the same subnet, except that one has access to the DMZ and out to the internet. And then the other one is just a local VM network that is going to contain the attack. We want to go ahead and launch the attack in a safe environment to make sure that it doesn't spread through the rest of the network. So here we have our two vulnerable machines. So we have our Win 10-5 and -6. And in that same network, we have our Kali machine, which is going to be the one simulating as the machine that got infected with a ransomware, and it's going to replicate the ransomware through the other two hosts on the network. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and jump into the Illumio PCE dashboard. And here we can see that at the moment we have the VAN installed on the two Windows machines. Right now it's configured as visibility only. So basically this configuration is only to log and detect the traffic, but it's not going to actually prevent anything. And in this tab, we have our ransomware policy. It's an enforcement boundary. So what this means is that without having to put the VAN in full enforcement, we can go ahead and enforce this policy, which is going to block these common ransomware ports, which if we go ahead and take a look in here, it's going to be some of the ports are enabled that are open by default from Windows. You have your RDP, SMB, NetBIOS, RPC, and some other UDP ports. This TCP port here, I added it to the template, but this is essentially when network discovery is enabled. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the Windows machines, and we can go ahead and take a look through there. So in here, we are taking a look at both of the Windows machines. This is a -5 machine. So you can see right now, if we run this status command, it's going to show that the event agent is installed and it's in illuminated, which means visibility only. And right now, I copy some documents in here so that we can take a look at the documents. It's just a doc file that we're able to access it. Okay, so everything looks good so far. In our second machine, it's the same thing. If we run the status command, you can see that it's saying illuminated. So it's in visibility only. And we can go ahead and take a look at the same file. And we're able to open and read into it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to go ahead and put these machines inside that ransomware network. And basically what this is going to do is allow us to run the WANNACRY ransomware in a safe environment. So let me go ahead and set this settings. Okay, so we're just gonna make sure that the Kali machine is also in the ransomware lab. And now let's go ahead and jump into the Kali machine. Okay. So first thing that we're gonna take a look here is we're gonna go ahead and see that we can access the two machines. So I can ping that 5, I can ping that 6, and then what I'm gonna do is just run an mmap command where we're just gonna scan that network, and we're gonna take a look and see what ports are open on both of these machines. So remember that right now the vents are installed in visibility only, so anything that is enabled on those Windows machines and has any ports that are listening on it, we should be able to see them as open. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause it while the Nmap is running. Okay, so now that the Nmap finished running, we can see that it discovered our first host here. And as I mentioned earlier, these are all the ports that are open. This is your NetBIOS, RPC, SMB, RDP, and this is the network discovery enabled. And you can see that we have the same ports open for .6. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to do is just go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and clear the screen, and we're gonna take a look at the commands that we're gonna be running today. So we already ran the nmap command. Okay, so we already did the discovery. We found the ports that are open. So the next thing that we're gonna take a look at is this script. This script that I set up is basically just going to use Metasploit, and it's going to use the exploit for the MS17101 0110. We're going to set our targets, which is our targets file containing the 2 IP addresses that we discovered. And we're going to simulate that we have already found, the network credentials. Then we're going to go ahead and exploit it. And after it exploits and successfully connects to those 2 machines, it's going to create 2 reverse shells. And in this command here, we're just going to call another script, and we're going to run this script on all the sessions. So if we take a look at the other script, basically this script, what it's going to be doing is uploading the ransomware file. So this is the WANNACRY ransomware file. It's going to upload it to the C directory of each of the machines, and then it's just going to execute that file. And when it executes that file, we should be able to see the Windows machines infected with the WANNACRY. So what we're going to be doing now is just go ahead and we're going to go ahead and run. So here we're going to start Metasploit, and we're going to feed it that WANNACRY script. So this is just going to take a few minutes, but what it's essentially going to be doing is connecting via SMB to those 2 machines that we have on the network. And once it connects, it's going to run the exploit to start the reverse shells. And when we see the interpreter shells, then it's going to call the second script, which is actually uploading the payload, the malicious payload, and then exploiting it. So as you can see now, it started running through the script. We already configured the exploit, started running the exploit on the machines. And so once it finishes, we're gonna go ahead and explain real quick what happened. So as you can see here, we started exploiting the first machine. It was able to connect and authenticate. And as you can see here, it opened the interpreter reverse shell. So you can see here that the .5 started a remote shell with our attacking machine. Okay, and then once that shell was created, it moved on to the next target. So we are on the .6 address. Did the same thing. It started the interpreter shell. And as you can see here, .6 connected to our attacking machine. Then the next thing that it did is went ahead and started uploading the ransomware file. It uploaded the ransomware file on the first machine. And here it tells us that it executed the file and it started the process for the WannaCry executable. And over here we did the same thing and created a process for the second file. So what we're gonna do now is go ahead and jump into the Windows machines, and we're gonna see the machines actually being infected with the WannaCry ransomware. So if we move over here, we can start seeing already some files that are here now that were not there before. You can see the WannaCry decrypt. Some of these files already are being copied with the WannaCry extension. So this process actually takes a couple of minutes for all of the files to get encrypted and the decryption program to start. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video right now, and we'll come back once it is fully running. Okay, so now that all of the files have been encrypted, we're gonna go ahead and take a look here. You can see that the ransomware, the WannaCry ransomware changes your background. It runs this program. This is the one of the crypt program. It tells you the instructions on what to do. And if we go ahead and open up that same folder that we opened before, you can see that all of the files in this folder have that the WannaCry appended to it. So the WannaCry extension appended to it. So if we try to open up one of these files, the same file that we opened up earlier, you can see obviously that it's not going to work. It actually takes a long time, and it's gonna give you a pop-up to find a program to open. So this is on the fifth machine. So now we take a look at the other machine. It's the same thing. Okay, so all the documents are encrypted with the WannaCry. So with this, we have successfully spread the WannaCry ransomware through our local network. So what we're going to be doing now is I'm going to go ahead and restore the last snapshot from these machines. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and restore these machines back to the original state. And from there, what we're going to do is change the enforcement status from visibility only. We're going to change that to selective, and then we're going to try going through the same attack. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video now while these machines are restored, and we'll come back in a few minutes. Okay, so now that the machines have been restored, we're going to go ahead and switch from visibility only to selective enforcement. So there's just a couple of clicks here. Selective enforcement, this is going to sync the policy now with the workloads. And just a quick review, what this is going to do is enable this ransomware policy, which is going to prevent any IP address from connecting to our workloads on the common ransomware ports. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again while this policy is syncing, and we'll go to the Windows machines and verify that it's installed. Now the policy is already set. We can see that the enforcement is selective. So let's go ahead and jump into our Windows machines here. And if we run the status command, we can see that now it's in the selective state. So let's go ahead and run it on this other machine. It's in the selective state. Okay, so now since we have the events already in the selective state, I don't really need to go ahead and move them to that ransomware network. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and jump back to our Kali machine, and from here we're gonna go ahead and just basically run through that same procedure that we did before. We're gonna go ahead and ping the machines. We can see that we can ping them. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and do the nmap command on the network, and while this is going, we can see here that we found our two hosts. We found that 5 and we found that 6. But now the difference is that all of those ports that were open before is saying that it's filtered, which essentially means that it's being that traffic is being dropped by the Windows firewalls. Okay, so now that we did that, let's go ahead and run through the same attack. So if you recall, what this is doing is just going to configure the exploit, a Metasploit, to use a MS17010 vulnerability. So it's going to exploit SMB vulnerability on the Windows machines. But the difference is that this time it's not going to be able to connect via SMB. So the attack is going to fail right away. And we'll just give it here a couple of seconds for Metasploit to start working. Okay, so what we see here now is we're starting to exploit the first target. It's trying to connect to the Windows machine, but here's where it stops already, the attack. you can see that it tried to connect to the Windows machine on port 445 and it's timing out. So basically the rest of the attack is going to fail. Now it's going to try doing the same thing on the second target. You can see it's trying on 6. It's stuck on this step here, trying to connect to that 6 IP address on SMB. And like the first one is timing out. So now the entire attack is essentially being prevented. So basically what we saw here is on the first attack, we had a malicious attacker into our network. There was a malicious attacker that broke into our network. It got infected with WANNACRY, ransomware, and it tried spreading the ransomware through the Windows machines. But once Illumio is installed and it's in selective enforcement and it's blocking those common ransomware ports, that attack failed. So if we take a look also, we can also take a look here at the illumination map. And here we can see that we have our, this is our lab environment that we've been working with. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and filter the last bit of traffic here. And if you can see here that that traffic is being blocked by the common ransomware. So you can see that we've been trying to access all those ports. This is a network scan that we've been trying to do, but it's being blocked by the selective enforcement policy. All right, so that's all for this lab. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you. If you also like the video or you have any comments, please put them below. Thank you.